Well, here we are, Jess, back again, ready to do another 4 pods of Christmas. Getting ready. We got our night. We're sitting by the fire. We got our nice warm drinks. We're all snuggled up in our Christmas sweaters, our ugly Christmas sweaters.
Yes.
The only thing that can make it more perfect is if we have a special guest stop by.
Oh. Hello. Come on in.
Hello!
Oh, what? What
Hello!
is this? Oh,
I'm
goodness.
Toad!
What?
I'm Toad! I'm Toad from the Super Mario games!
What? Why?
Hello!
What is this happening?
Merry Christmas!
Oh my gosh, why?
I'm Jewish,
What?
but I can still celebrate with you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sadie Hawkins' podcast.
Hello, everybody! Hello! I
So-
can't quite do it. My throat's dry.
I thought that Bing Crosby was showing up. Danny told me Bing Crosby was showing up, and then that happened.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not Bing. I can't do a Toad voice. I thought I could do it. I just wanted to do a shocking, bizarre voice instead of doing Bing Crosby. And all I could think was Toad from the Mario Brothers. He has a horrible voice.
I
But
feel
can't even do
so
it.
bad for anybody who thinks that they're clicking on Relient K's Angels We Have Heard on High on Spotify and instead hears that.
I don't feel bad at all. I feel good about that. We know the Christmas season has really begun when, one, you go to Spotify and all the top 5 songs are Christmas songs for Relient K.
Yep.
And 2, our numbers for 12 Days of Christmas skyrocket. Our starts, not our listens, but our episode starts skyrocket.
They hear us talking and they're like, oh, forget about it. Do
Yeah.
you do Bing Crosby in that one?
I don't remember what I do in that one.
I don't know. So we're sitting here. It's a brisk day here in Los Angeles. It's 79 degrees.
Oh, put another log on the fire.
Blue skies, golden sunshine.
Yep.
We're enjoying. I've got some Earl Grey tea, an Earl Grey tea latte with oat milk, and Danny has a hot toddy. Mm-hmm. And he has his in his festive Santa rad coffee mug, and I have mine in my Relient K Air for Free mug.
Yep.
So today we are talking about Angels We Have Heard on High.
Yes, we are. But first, we have top of the show business.
All right.
In addition to the business that I'm doing, because I'm technically at work right now. Let's see. Oh, and thank you for my hot toddy. It's delicious. I got Evan Williams bourbon in there.
Yeah, you got the
Evan Williams always sounds like a paint company to me.
bottled and bond one. Yeah, it does sound like a paint company.
Sherman Williams. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Ask Sherman Williams.
Ask how,
So-
ask now.
So we have one voicemail.
Danny and Jess, it's David from Jimmy Eat Pod. Listening to the latest episode, and you guys talk about the Bird and the B-sides, and I, again, know nothing about this band. I think you theorized that, maybe this is an unreleased album that they just sort of, released with B-sides because it wasn't what they wanted. But then you talked about in this episode that it was, the last record that they were doing to get out of their contract. So, in a way, they just sort of flipped this to the record label. So you might say they flipped the Bird and the B-side to the record label. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm going down a path. Maybe I'm going in a car wash. Anyway, I don't know if there's any Relient K car wash songs, but okay, that's my theory. Bye.
Well, your theory is completely confirmed. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Because clearly, so I don't think David's heard our Be Your Man John Schneck episode yet.
Yeah.
Because we talked to John Schneck and he explained that that's pretty much what it means. Because we were always like, why is it called Bird in the B-side, not Birds in the B-sides? But David Park, don't feel bad, because you figured out what so many Relient K fans could never figure out.
Yeah.
Nobody ever assumed that it literally meant we're flipping the bird to the record label, but that's apparently what it meant. But they did it in such a twee way with a nice fun little bird on the cover and this artsy thing that this is that Wes Anderson art style that Relient K sometimes does, that nobody would assume it literally meant the record label is forcing us to put out a full-length album before we're ready to do Forget Not Slow Down, so we're flipping the bird to the record label. That's apparently what it means. John Schneck said, he was even like, I don't know if I should be telling this, but this is what the title means.
If you hear Danny crinkling, he's opening up
Jessica
his Christmas gifts already.
I didn't get Jessica a Christmas gift. Well, yes, I did. We just ordered it, but it won't arrive till later. Hello! It's me, Toad! It's me, Toad! Hello! No one gets the very visual gag. Jessica got me one of those bar things. It's like a cone. It's like a cone. It's a cone, right? It's like a double-sided cone, so you can get the perfect amount of bourbon in your drinks.
We're not going to say what it's called. It's very close to a very not okay word, so it has an official name.
Right. When Jessica said, I got you and I'm like, a what? And she's like, no, that's what it's called.
Yeah. So, moving on. Other top of the show business.
So other top of the show business is, as long as David Park brought up the topic, last week we talked about, at least we made it this far, and what I realized, and we've done a couple of these type of Bird and the B-side songs, because there's a couple of different types of songs on Bird and the B-sides. Mm-hmm. There's obviously all the B-sides on the second half, and then in the original songs you have the
birds.
You have the birds and you have the B-sides. So in the bird songs, you have like the fun, goofy, or like whatever songs that like the rest of the band wrote. You have a couple other fun songs like Beamin', you know? But what I realized is I have a full-on theory, and I think this is more than a theory, I think this is absolutely true, that within Bird and the B-sides, specifically the Nashville, Tennessee EP, you have a prequel to Forget Not Slow Down.
Yeah, for sure.
It's at least we made it this far, and Where Do I Go From Here, and Curl Up and Die. I think these are literally essentially songs. I think they were songs that are in a way like demos to what becomes Forget Not Slow Down. I think they're part of the exact same story of the relationship he was in that ended, that then he wrote Forget Not Slow Down on. And there's one song in particular on Bird and the B-sides. So I was listening to Bird and the B-sides with this whole new concept in mind, knowing that the record label came to them and said, you owe us a record in 2008. And the band was like not ready to work on their canonical album number 6. So I think Thiessen had a handful of songs that he was working on that would have been in Forget Not Slow Down. I think if there's a timeline, if there's a universe out there where the record label didn't force them to put out Bird and the B-sides, if they put out if for fun at some point they just put out a B-side collection with no original songs on it, then I think the track list to Forget Not Slow Down is totally different. Especially since Forget Not Slow Down is technically such a short album, right? I think there's an alternate universe out there where Do I Go From Here and Curl Up and Die, and At Least We Made It This Far, are on Forget Not Slow Down. They're actually there because Thiessen was like, well, I have these couple of songs I'm working on for the next album, but I don't want to use these other songs because those have to go on the next album. So he's like, these ones are just kind of edged out, and we'll put them on this stupid Flip the Bird B-side collection that we're giving to the record label.
Right, or they could be like a precursor to that. They could be like, when things are maybe getting a little tumultuous, but they haven't, gotten to the events of Forget Not Slow Down yet.
Yeah, because At Least We Made It This Far, we seem to theorize, was written from the point of view of his relationship has not ended yet. And he's saying, at least we made it this far, and I hope we continue to make it. But then we know in real life that they didn't. So on the production of Bird and the B-sides, it's so clean but fast. Like the production happened quickly, but it sounds clean, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas Forget Not Slow Down, the production is messy but clearly fussed over, clearly produced, right? So if you listen to these prequel Forget Not Slow Down songs that are on Nashville, Tennessee EP, the production can kind of trick you. But if you listen to like There Was Another Time in My Life, like I think that's literally there's another timeline in our lives where that song it sounds exactly like a Forget Not Slow Down song.
It really does.
The production just it doesn't have that cabin production. It has a clean, in a nice regular old clean studio for the day, just hammering out these songs. But it doesn't have that slightly messy, slightly 90s feel. But they could have done a 90s version of was another time in my life that would fit perfectly on Forget Not Slow Down. And last thing, to put this theory together and to bed for now, and we'll talk about it someday when we do another Nashville Tennis song or a Forget Not Slow Down song, is on the Japanese import of Forget Not Slow Down, Where Do I Go From Here, the acoustic version, which is one of the most rare official Relient K album tracks, is that acoustic version of Where Do I Go From Here. It was placed on the Japanese version of Forget Not Slow Down. So it's like, you know, and then there's Terminals, which is technically a bonus track. It's not on every version, but it fits the story in some way, in some like tangential way, you know? So I think they wouldn't have picked a bonus. I mean, they could have. They absolutely could have just picked any random bonus acoustic cover acoustic version they had never released and thrown onto that bonus track. But I think it was more deliberate than that. Anyway, I'm going to make a playlist. I'm going to listen through Nashville Tennis EP, and I'm going to make a playlist of like the Nashville Tennis Forget and Not Slow Down prequel album. And people can listen to it. Listen to these tracks into Forget Not Slow Down. Maybe I'll even go through and take those tracks that I figure out from Nashville, belong on Forget Not Slow Down, and make a new track listing, which won't sound perfect because the production of both albums are too starkly different.
Right.
But you'll have to listen specifically to the lyrics. Anyway, that's my top of the show business. So, instead of hearing me prattle on about what I was discussing, what's that? What do I hear on high? Why, it is the angels. Because it's Christmas time.
It is.
And once again, we're doing the 4 pods of Christmas because there's so many Relient K Christmas songs.
Are we only doing 4? Or are we doing 5?
We're doing 4 this year. Well, last year, the big old switcheroo, as we called it, the 4 pods of Christmas, and we did 5 because we did Old Lang Syne.
Right.
This year, none of the big holidays happen on podcast day. Like, I was hoping at least Boxing Day would happen on podcast day this year and we could do Boxing Day, but it doesn't. Like, all the holiday days are like towards the end of the week, and then we come out Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. So the dates don't line up perfectly. We're doing a Christmas episode every other week for 2 weeks, for 4 weeks. And then, two Christmas episodes out of 4 weeks. And then we're doing 2 Christmas episodes back to back leading up to Christmas, because Christmas is so far from podcast day that there was no way to make it work perfectly.
Angels we have heard on high.
Hark! What is that? I hear it's the angels on high.
This is very Blink-182. Mm-hmm. The drum style is so Travis Barker.
100%.
Like, everything about it.
It's his trademark.
Yeah.
I think it's Blink-155 who really said this for the first time, but it's true. I mean, I'm sure other people have said it. I don't know if this is like... I don't know, actually, now that I say this, I don't know if this is like how Seinfeld took the phrase yada, 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 even though that phrase existed long before Seinfeld came out, but now it's associated to Seinfeld. So I don't know if Blink-155 said this first, or if now it's just associated to them, but they call Travis Barker's particular style of drumming dishwasher drumming. That like... That part, you know?
Right, yes.
It sounds like pots and pans inside a dishwasher clunking together from the water. You know what's so fun was watching, there are so many drum covers for this frickin' song.
Yeah.
That I was able to watch people who really knew how to do the Travis Barker dishwasher style, and who just kind of fudged it by just kind of riding the tom and just kind of like doop boop boop, just kind of like going through it, but not actually hitting the cymbals or hitting high enough on the cymbal. But yeah, this is like this is a full-on Travis Barker thing. And I didn't find in my research, maybe you found this, if this song was labeled to Blink-182 on like Last FM and because of LimeWire, if those continue today.
Yeah, no, I did not. It all came up with Relient K, and oddly, there was a lot of stuff that came up in my deep dive this week, which I was kind of surprised about, because I feel like in other Christmas episodes we haven't gotten quite nearly as much of that. So,
right. Especially for these traditional songs, which would have so many search results just for the title alone.
Right. I really like this version of the song. This one is one of those kind of like stale, slow Christmas songs that really complements this like rock refresh of it. This is totally a song that when performed traditionally, if it comes on, I'm switching radio stations or hitting the next button.
Right.
I discovered that there's a Sixpence None the Richer version while I was researching, and I put it on and it was like, oh, it was it was like extra slow. It was very beautiful, but it was just not what I was in the mood for, and I was like, oh wow, this is
Right.
yeah.
That reminds me, last year, we never got around to talking about Dido Christmas song that I hate.
Oh, that's right.
Christmas Day. We kept talking about it, and I was like, oh, I'll save that for the last pot of Christmas. So let's see if we get to it this year. We're not talking about it today.
No, we have too much to cover today.
But there's a Dido Christmas song that I worked at Macy's one Christmas in 2012, just for Christmas, and it was a song that would come on, and it was the worst Christmas song I'd ever heard. To me, it's worse than how some people hate Christmas shoes. Because at least Christmas shoes, like, the people actually love each other. It's like, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it someday. Anyway.
You know who should do a Christmas album?
Who?
Lana Del Rey. But, like, all the songs are changed to Here Comes Krampus and, I don't know, other dark things. But that's old Lana. New Lana would totally do just a straightforward Christmas album where she's smiling on Santa's lap or something on the cover. Versus, like, getting the grossest Santa possible to sit on his lap and, like, be flirting with him or something. A new Lana Del Rey cover of the old one.
A new style Lana Del Rey Christmas album would be like, I'm swiping left on Christmas.
Something that I came across this week that we'll talk about when we cover it was, I discovered on the wiki for Deck the Halls, Bruise Your Hand, that I Hate Christmas Parties was performed by Teased and the Earthquakes.
I feel like we might have...
Did we touch on this before?
Touched on that last year, but we weren't doing that song.
Right.
So we just kind of brushed over it quickly. Like, last year, we don't have either CD sitting on our table this year, but I think last year we were comparing the sparse credits of Deck the Halls to the more detailed credits of Let It Snow, and how, you know, you'd get answers for certain production things in Let It Snow that you wouldn't get for the same track on Deck the Halls, and we saw how it said that. I believe we did, but yeah.
This song, if you're a bass player or you're just learning how to play bass, is actually pretty simple to play on the bass. So go look up those tabs.
We'll go
if
grab
you're
the
interested.
bass, Jess, and let's hear it.
Okay.
So to talk about a little bit more about the Blink-182 thing in this. So we've talked about this last year because we did Deck the Halls. It's not like one fades into the next or anything. It's not like a completely joined together two songs, but they go well together, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm losing track of... Jessica, what'd you put in this drink? Because I'm losing track of what I'm saying. What I'm trying to say is...
I don't know. You brought me your choice of bourbon for it, so...
Last year, we talked about how on the deck... Because you have the two Relient K Christmas CDs. To catch anyone up who doesn't realize this, you have Deck the Hall, Bruise Your Hands, which came out in 2003. And it's sort of an EP. I think it's a little long. It's probably technically an EP.
Yeah.
And it has the more pop-punk songs. There's a couple non-pop punk songs, like I Celebrate the Days on there, and I Hate Christmas Parties. But the songs that sound like Blink-182 on the Relient K Christmas album come from the original EP, Deck the Hall and Bruise Your Hands. Well, then they took that EP in 2007, and they fleshed it out with more songs, and they released that as their official Christmas album. Now when you go looking for streaming and stuff, you'll find it mainly as Let It Snow, Baby, Let It Reindeer. But everything from Deck the Halls, Bruise Your Hands, that EP, is on Let It Snow, Baby, Let It Reindeer. So you don't really need a copy of Deck the Halls unless you're like you're a completionist. And I've listened to them back to back, and there's no clear production differences when they put it on. When they put the Deck the Halls songs on Let It Snow, Baby, there's no obvious production differences. Not like there are huge production differences between the gold albums of the second and third CDs. So
And you have different personnel.
Yeah, and you have different personnel because you have Brian and David on the Deck the Halls songs, and then you have David and John on all of the original stuff that's on Let It Snow Baby, and then Ethan was on the 3 bonus tracks that came out a year later that are now only found on the Goatee Christmas comp. They used to be exclusive to the iTunes version of the Christmas album. Anyway, just catching everyone up on that, this is what I wanted to say. Deck the Halls, Bruise Your Hands comes out 3 years into in 2003, 3 years into them being like a known entity now, right? They were together, they signed to Goatee Records. We learned last week they signed to Goatee Records in like 1998. It took them 2 years to come up with their first album. They're quickly going up the charts in youth groups and Christian festivals and stuff, and church tours and stuff like that, going on tour with Five Iron Frenzy and all these things. And when you look at those little charts that they give you in the Christian bookstore, it'll say, if you like Blink-182, listen to Relient K, right? But from a critical ear, there's no real connection between Relient K and Blink-182. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Obviously, I think you wouldn't even...
We've sat here and disputed this with, every article we've ever read.
Yeah. I think it's just a matter of marketing to say that they're the Christian Blink-182. Because everyone would say MXPX was the Christian Blink-182, even though MXPX and Blink-182 are concurrent bands, and MXPX got more famous before Blink-182 shot past them, right? I don't even know if you can find an early interview with Relient K where they would say Blink-182 was a major influence to them starting out. You see them talk about Weezer and MXPX and a couple other non-punk bands, but I could be wrong, but I haven't seen one where they say Blink-182 was an influence for us starting out. Blink-182 is definitely something of an influence later, because there's at that Orlando show that you were at that we always find on YouTube from 2006 or 5. He's playing a Tom DeLonge signature guitar, right? But I think because Blink-182 didn't become an undeniable influence on the entire pop punk industry until the early 2000s, until Enema of the State and Take Off Your Pants and Jacket. That was when any band that wasn't really paying attention to them, that was trying to be big, might not have by the time of by the time of Toy Page and the Untitled for sure, that's when Blink-182, whether other bands would admit it or not, have influenced all the other bands around them, because they've just simply Blink-182's gotten huge, right? And all the other bands around them that are well, we're just in the same categories Blink-182, we should be big, so they sort of, whether they do it on purpose or not, they started to take influence from Blink-182. I think Relient K, I think that they basically were we're not like Blink-182, but people keep saying we're like the Christian Blink-182. So just for once with this is just a theory, just for this once with the Christmas album, let's deliberately try to sound as much like Blink-182 as we're capable of production-wise. You know what I mean? They're we're not going to do one of our original albums where we try to emulate Blink-182, but if we do a covers album, they could have done this with a covers album or a special EP, or but they did it with a Christmas album. They were we're doing a novelty record, a Christmas album. This is our one chance to deliberately sound like Blink-182. Now, why did they do it? I personally think it's because they were being compared to Blink-182 all the time. So they were hey, we'll sound as much like them as possible. So when people say you sound just like Blink-182, you'd be no, did you listen to our Christmas album? That sounds like Blink-182. Did you listen to our first 3 albums? Those don't. That's just a theory as I'm sitting here drinking my hot toddy while I'm technically supposed to be working from home.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. It's a good theory.
Yeah.
It's a theory.
Or my other theory is that maybe, you know how sometimes you have ideas for things that you aren't really able to pull off.
Right.
Because they're ideas that other bands or other artists would have to do. You know what I mean? You think to yourself...
They're outside your capabilities.
Right. Or they're specific to something that you're a fandom of. I have, Ninja Turtles ideas of, I can never do those because I don't work for Nickelodeon, so I can't write those Ninja Turtle ideas, right? Or
if anybody at Nickelodeon is listening, hire Danny.
Right.
He's got ideas.
Or I have this idea... Yes, you should. Or I have this idea, I think MXPX should do an On the Cover 3, and I think it should be all covers of bands that they're friends with or contemporaries to.
Oh, that'd be cool.
That's what I wish they would do, but I have no control over MXPX, so I can only wish that would happen, you know? So my other theory of why these songs sound like Blink-182 is that maybe Relient K had that idea. They were like, oh, it'd be cool if Blink-182 did a Christmas album. They technically did one Christmas song, but it's like a joke Blink-182 song, like, you know, you end up in jail at the end and there's a guy named Bubba there or whatever, like those kind of Blink-182 jokes in this Christmas song that they did. But they were like, what if Matt Thiessen was like, oh, it'd be cool to hear Blink-182 do traditional Christmas songs, but they're not going to do it, so we'll do it and we'll make it sound like them.
I stopped paying attention to you a little bit. I was just thinking about what an MXPX cover of Addicted by Simple Plan would sound like.
They could that could be one they'd end up doing. They're friends with.
I know. That's why I thought about it.
They don't have to worry about how it's like a phony swear. I'm a dick. They don't have to worry about that now because they swear for real now. Yeah.
This isn't an MXPX podcast.
No.
Though.
Does Simple Plan swear? Do you know enough of their music? You probably just know.
Yeah, they do, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't go deep enough with Simple Plan for you. I saw them with Relient K. Thank you very much, and good Charlotte. Yeah, he's like, I want a girl in my bed who knows what to do, a PlayStation 2. I feel like he probably swears at some point in the Christmas Simple Plan song. I don't remember, though.
I want a PlayStation 2.
We have one.
We do. And like the fact that they're trying to sound like Blink-182 in this album, last I have to say about Blink-182 in this, is undeniable with the fact that there's the Travis Barker drums. Because Dave Douglas is
not his style.
It's not his style. So he's clearly purposefully trying to emulate a certain thing that they're trying to achieve.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Like the guitar tone. Oh, by the way, and Daniel, you can see my socks, just said he loves the guitar tone on this album. Or on this song specifically, at least. And so I was like, yeah, we'll talk about that. It sounds good. But you know,
yep, sounds great.
So I wonder if it's like so Dave Douglas was able to perfectly emulate the Travis Barker dishwasher sound, but maybe the guitar tone in this, which sounds great, it sounds really fun, that is Relient K trying to emulate a Blink-182 guitar tone that they couldn't fully do.
I don't know. Does it sound like a... I don't know enough about Blink-182.
It doesn't sound like it to me.
No, okay.
There's a very particular tone that Tom DeLonge really has. Like, when... You know what's funny is, like, Green Day is a band that can be perfectly emulated by other bands.
David Park is going to love this episode.
Green Day is a band that can be, like, easily emulated, I feel like. Like, just perfectly emulated. Like, anyone can, if you want to sound exactly like Green Day. There was a fake Green Day album that got released virally before their last crappy album came out.
I was going to say, was it better than that one?
Yeah, I think it was better than that one. But Blink-182, like, you can't really emulate them perfectly. Like, when you see... and for better or for worse, there's other bands that's similar to this. It's like Limp Bizkit. Like, no other... like, there's so many rap rock bands. I don't even like Limp Bizkit. I'm just saying, like, there's certain bands that, like, they're in the same genre, and you think that genre is really simple and dumb. But a band like Blink-182 or a band like Limp Bizkit, they find a very specific tone in their music that other bands can't really emulate. You know what I mean? And I don't really give a crap if no one can emulate Limp Bizkit. But, like, if I've wanted to listen to a band that sounds like Blink-182, like, what do you have? You have, like, All Time Low, and, like, maybe Phoenix TX is the closer to someone actually sounding like Blink-182, but they don't really sound like Blink-182.
Crazy
Anyway.
Town? Does Crazy Town sound like
Limp Bizkit?
Limp Bizkit?
No.
I just know that one, the Butterfly Sugar Babies.
I believe everything I might know about Limp Bizkit has to do with that guitarist that left.
Oh,
in
by the
prime
way,
of their time, which I don't know.
Dashboard Confessional.
Oh, yeah?
I know the Dashboard Confessional song off of the Spider-Man soundtrack, the first Tobey Maguire one.
Well, congratulations. You are totally vindicated in not knowing enough Dashboard Confessional last week. Hands down, you are vindicated.
Do we have anything else to say about this particular song before we move into deep dive stuff? Because it's great. I don't have a lot to say about it. It's a great jam. I like it way better than any other version of this song.
And you know what's fun about that dishwasher drumming thing is it gives it a little beacon, a little like a little lighthouse in the song that makes you know if someone is covering this particular version.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because one thing we've had a problem with, well, I've had a problem with, is when I go on YouTube and I look for covers of these traditional Christmas songs, Relient K has put a little extra something in all of these traditional songs, so I can tell when it's a cover. So, like, I can't remember the songs we've done already, but 12 Days of Christmas, like, obviously the original lyrics in that, what's a partridge, what's a pear tree? If I don't hear those lyrics, I'm like, well, this is just a pop punk version of the song. But then if I hear them sing what's a partridge, what's a pear tree, I'm like, oh, this is a cover of the Relient K version. So in this version, it's that dishwasher drumming, which if you hear that, you're like, okay, this person is specifically trying to copy the Relient K version, because I did find a couple of, like, garage pop punk bands, like teenager groups, doing covers of this, but then I would go forward to the middle of the song and listen for that dishwasher drumming, and if they didn't do it, I'm like, this is just them doing that song. But I did find a couple of bands that did the dishwasher drumming, and I'm like, okay, they're copying Relient K.
We'll take a break and be right back.
If you enjoy Sadie Hawkins Pod, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. And you can interact with the show. Call our voicemail line, 402-95-SADIE, and we'll play it on a future show.
You can send an email to sadiehawkinspod@gmail.com and visit our Instagram and Twitter, which are both at sadiehawkinspod.
We also have merch up at our TeePublic store, where you can get a shirt, a mug, stickers, and more.
Just in time for Halloween, or for after Halloween, depending on when you're listening to this, is our Little Sheep Boy shirt design, based on the cover of the original Creepy EP.
We also want to thank our patrons over at patreon.com/SadieHawkinsPod. There's Brady, David, Tucker, This Might Be a Podcast, Owen, Jimmy Eat Pod, Roxanne, Samantha, Helen, and Michael.
You can sign up to our Patreon for bonus episodes and exclusive merch.
And if you have a special someone in your life, think of giving them the gift of Sadie Hawkins Pod.
Do you know what I just realized? That this podcast next comes out on my birthday. So next week, that episode comes out on my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
How old are you going to be?
Still younger than you.
Oh.
So we have more Christmas light displays set to the song. Then we have Spin Ditty, Who Did It Best? And they ranked Relient K's version at number 9 and said, this vigorous rock version demonstrates that a Christmas song doesn't have to be choir-based and slow to send it on up to the big guy in the sky. Relient K is a Christian alternative rock band with a history of crossover appeal in pop and rock markets. Boisterous and fun, their version of Angels We Have Heard on High is heavy on electric guitar, although the rapid-fire pace does make me wonder, why are they in such a hurry? They clock in at under 2 minutes, whereas most versions take 3 to 5 minutes. Ugh, that's 2 minutes, perfect amount of time. They unnecessarily race through this solemn song, although they do so with enthusiasm. Traditionalists won't enjoy Relient K's creativity here, but hey, at least they took a chance and did something totally unexpected with this Christmas song. They rated, like, the highest as being, like, traditional versions of the song and, like, Josh Groban and Pentatonics or whatever that they're called, the a cappella people.
Okay.
Is there ska cappella? I feel like we've talked about that before.
I'm sure people have done a cappella versions of ska songs.
CreativePastors.com. So, I had no idea.
That seems like I feel like if you're gonna be a pastor, you should be expected to be creative. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think you should be just so completely dry and devoid of all wit and humor and creativity that you should have... Even if you're boring and dry, you should at least have some creativity. To teach a Bible lesson, you have to extrapolate lessons out of the scripture.
You have to make up stories and stuff to go along with it, you know, parables and stuff. So I had no idea, but it makes perfect sense that there is a prep burger for ministry.
Okay.
For $20, you can get these rockin' sing-along graphics for your church. And what this is you know how
Prep Burger, by the way, I don't think everyone knows. Prep Burger is the service where if you're a radio station, they just like send you pre-made bumpers and pre-made games to play and like skits on the radio, like little skits you can play and like, yeah.
So if you live in one place and you're like, oh, this is, you know, my regular old morning zoo radio has this bit or whatever that they do every week, and then you move or you go on vacation and you're like, hey, they do the same thing in this completely other place.
It's because they have a Prep Burger company that they get these bits from.
So I'll play it for you. Oh, they do these beeping so that you can match it up.
Oh.
But look at this. It's like it's so groovy.
Right.
So rockin'. And it's like how they put the lyrics up on the screen behind you when you're singing in church.
Mm-hmm. Very,
they're using the AC/DC font.
Yeah, a little freaky.
It is.
A little bit freaky, like very symmetrical lines.
It's very
dancing,
psychedelic.
Very psychedelic dancing lines. This kind of reminds me of while I was doing searches for angels we have heard on high, I saw some stuff about biblically correct angels. And it's some freaky stuff. It's like, you know, like they like, because angels are seen as like a guy with wings or a lady with wings and a trumpet. But like, if you look up biblically correct angels, they're like interdimensional rings folded in on each other, covered in eyes.
Whoa, what? What?
I was like, that's weird. And
that's some D&D stuff right there.
I know, but yeah, it's pretty funny. Like I had not really heard that, but then it made something make sense. There's an anime called Neon Genesis Evangelion. It's probably one of the most well-known animes. Like people who don't even like anime as a genre have definitely. Lots of people have watched this one anime. And it's like supposed to be, you think it's just a giant monster versus giant robot anime, but it gets all like weird and spiritual by the end in like these very odd ways of like a Japanese creator through the lens of like Judaism and Christianity and all this kind of weird stuff. And the monsters are called angels, but they're these really freaky looking monsters with like these freaky covered in eyes and like really strange designs. It's like, why are they called angels? Well, like now I get it. Like someone looked up like a real biblical, you know, the guy who made Neon Genesis Evangelion looked up like what angels are really supposed to look like and was like, I'm going to make monsters based on those freaky ass designs.
So you're saying that like hovering above the stable, just a little bit above the manger, was like a beholder?
Right. Basically, I guess, yeah.
We have a very short blurb from the Jesuit Post about this song, which look at this. I love this little cartoon at the top for their banner. All these like ministers that are like real hip. I think they're
like through time.
Being real hip.
I think it's like a thing through time. Like, because in the first one, he's like a monk. He's like a Jesuit priest with like a quill. And then in the next one, you have like, I guess he's got like an inkwell pen. So I guess that might be like the early 20th. And then you got a guy with a typewriter. You got a guy with a typewriter. And then you got a guy with headphones and a Apple laptop.
It's good stuff. It says, I love this version of the old classic, first of all, because it rocks, but also because it just seems to explode with joy. Like they just can't keep the good news to themselves. And good news is capitalized.
As it should be. I'm almost out of drink. Bring me another cup of wassail.
Then we've got the Donner Party Mountain Runners has this on their December playlist from 2019.
Okay. Yum. Now I'm getting hungry.
We have a quiz.
See, Wendy, he knows all about that stuff. He saw it on the TV. It's my favorite Christmas movie, The Shining.
This podcast should be called Danny Does Impressions all throughout the episode.
Except my toad is awful.
They're all awful. So, from funtrivia.com.
But I mean, my toad disappointed me. You know what I mean? Like, I know my Bing Crosby is bad. I know I never tried to do a Jack Nicholson until now, but I know they're bad. But, like, my toad even disappointed me.
Have we talked about how you made that Facebook group?
Oh yeah,
with the Watchmen.
When Toad says "Help me," I say no. That's real. Yeah, and it didn't go anywhere. But when I used to play New Mario Brothers on the original Wii, you get these missions where you could save Toad in this level you already did, and I'd be like, "Fuck that."
So funtrivia.com. Relient K, deck the halls, bruise your hand. 10-question trivia quiz by Moog36. I know that a lot of you have probably never heard this CD since it is no longer available, but this quiz is of the lyrics from Relient K's album Deck the Halls, Bruise Your Hand. Average score for this quiz is 6 out of 10, and the difficulty is average. Well, if you only are getting 6 out of 10, that sounds a little more difficult than average, and it has been played 330 times. So, Danny, which of these Christmas songs is not on the CD? Angels We Have Heard on High, We Wish You a Merry Christmas, Deck the Halls, The First Noel.
The First Noel.
2. Which song was performed by Matthew Thiessen and the Earthquakes? Silent Night / Away in a Manger.
Yep.
12 Days of Christmas.
Yep.
I Hate Christmas Parties.
Nope.
Angels We Have Heard on High.
Yep. I hate Christmas parties.
Which song has the lyrics, unless something drastic happens fast, say hello to the ghost of Christmas past? Santa Claus is thumbing to town. I hate Christmas parties. I celebrate the day. Handel's Messiah.
I forgot the question. Repeat those lyrics. I know those lyrics, but I couldn't quite get it.
Unless something drastic happens fast, say hello to the ghost of Christmas past.
Santa Claus is thumbing to town.
Which song was not written by Matt T? This is kind of an easy one. Auld Lang Syne, Santa Claus is thumbing to town, I celebrate the day, I hate Christmas parties.
Auld Lang Syne.
Except that they have the little intro or outro or whatever in it, where he and Hoops do have their own little version. So technically, they did add their own lyrics at some point.
You mean the little recitation?
Yeah.
The little, like, thanks for listening. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Brian was in the original version, though.
Oh, that's true.
Yep.
Which of these is not a line of the song I Hate Christmas Parties? I don't want to talk. I'm sick of all this talking. I can't figure it out. Is this what Christmas is all about? But I can bet those are terrible Christmas gifts to get. I look under the tree, but there's nothing to see.
Number 1. I actually don't know this. I don't listen to this song enough.
I would think it's, but I can bet those are terrible gifts to get because that's from 12 Days of Christmas.
I gotta be... Yeah, I don't think I'm going to... I'll just go for the first one. I don't think I'm going to get this one right. I literally have to guess.
No, I'm telling you, I'm pretty sure it's 3, which is from 12 Days of Christmas. I don't know for sure.
But what I'm saying is I don't know the answer.
So you want me to pick the first one, which is...
Pick the one you think is correct.
I don't want to talk. I'm sick of all this talking.
I don't listen to this song enough, so I don't know.
I Hate Christmas Parties. You have
Jingle bells.
And I Hate Christmas Parties. It's about hating Christmas parties where you have to talk to people that you don't want to talk to.
I know. Sorry, I'm becoming belligerent because...
What? 6?
I drank my hot toddy.
What year did Deck the Halls, Bruise Your Fist come out?
Does it say fist?
Yes. It should be hand.
It should be hand. They got it.
2002, 2001, 2003, 2000.
2003.
Yes. In 7, in 12 Days of Christmas, what words are replaced by ooh, ee, ooh, ah? I tried to get the spelling as best I could.
Ooh, ee, ooh, ah, ah, ting, ting, walla, walla, bing, bang.
4 calling birds, 5 golden rings, 2 turtle doves, 8 maids a milking.
5 golden rings. There's a ooh, ee, ooh, ah. They remove... Yeah.
8. What 2 songs are put together into one? Handel's Messiah and Angels We Have Heard on High. Silent Night and Angels We Have Heard on High. Silent Night and Away in the Manger.
Silent Night and Away in the Manger.
Yeah, Angels We Have Heard on High and Away in the Manger. 9. Which of these lines is from We Wish You a Merry Christmas?
We wish you a Merry Christmas.
Very much to his disliking, Santa spent all night hitchhiking.
No.
So we drive as fast as we can go through the black night, black ice, and the snow.
I think that's it.
That is it.
Yeah.
And I celebrate the day that you were born to die
Wait, that's
so
it.
I could one day pray for you to save my life. For the Lord God omnipotent reigneth. It's the one about black ice. 10. What color is the cover of the 2004 re-release of Deck the Halls, Bruise Your Hand? Red, green, blue, white.
It's the same, I think.
I would think it would be red, which
Red.
is...
I didn't know
yeah.
that there is
I didn't either.
I mean, okay, this is news to me. I could cheat and go to Discogs, but to be fair, I never knew. I always thought that...
While you do that, we're going to lock in at red then.
Let's just say it's red, yeah.
I mean, if they were going to change the color, you'd think it would be green because
And you think I would have
Christmas.
seen it before.
Yeah.
Because from my understanding, because I know I got my copy of Deck the Hall, Bruise Your Hands when I bought a second copy of...
We got 10 out of 10, so the answer was red.
Okay. Because, yeah, we talked about this last year, but I think...
Ooh, should we post this to Facebook? Hey,
Okay.
we know Relient K.
We talked about this last year, and we weren't sure about it, and I think it might have been Daniel or someone that helped us figure it out. If it wasn't Daniel, if it was someone else, I apologize. But I think it was... Deck the Hall, Bruise Your Hands was originally a bonus CD with a reissue, with the 2004 reissue of Two Lefts.
Right.
Whereas the first run of Two Lefts had the 4 covers. The first release of the sort of taupe, white, grayish cover, where all the cars are in the dump,
Yeah.
that was released in 2004. That's not the gold release, but it's like it's been a year, here's a single version of the cover now, packed with the Christmas album.
It's been a year filled with problems, but now you're here almost as if to solve them.
Yes. I'm drunk.
Danny, this is not Patreon.
I'm not like really drunk. I just rushed that. I just drank too much of this too quickly. I'll sober very quickly, but I'm just kind of lightheaded. I'm lightheaded right now. I'm bizzed at the time.
Shout out Johnny Wright.
Yeah. So,
I'm going to take away all these things. Danny has so much
So
stuff he's
anything
playing with
else
on the
to talk-
table. That was it for my deep dive. I did come up with, I found a live journal, but it was just listing the songs on the album. And I was like, that's a bummer. I thought we'd go into more because I was excited when I saw a live journal, but yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. So let's talk about now that one person who was like, why is this band in such a rush?
Right.
Like, I can't believe it's a rockin' version of the song. Well, there's, of course, millions of covers of this song, and we're not going to talk about most any of them. But for the... I wrote down 3, and I think we're only really going to talk about 2 of them, because they kind of fall in the punk or Christian rock thing. This one is not Christian rock. I'm vamping because I'm trying to get the clip because I didn't save it to my notes. So here is not Christian rock. It's quite the opposite. It's
Satan rock?
it's the bad religion. Oh. It's not the good religion, it's the bad religion.
Nice.
This is Bad Religion's version of Angels We Have Heard on High.
Is it like Demons We Have Heard on Low?
Well, they're not. Bad Religion isn't like that. Would that be the Metallica version? I don't know.
Angels we have heard on high, sweetly singing o'er the plains, and the mountains in reply, echoing their joyous strains. Gloria in excelsis Deo.
Something about that sounds like we're about to ship out to Boston.
Well, I was just about to say, because I was like, oh, I didn't have a comeback for your joke about demons we have heard on low. And I was going to come back and be like, no, this is like pirates we have heard on seas. Because because Bad Religion is always referred to as like the pirate shanty punk band.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So there's that. That's okay. I've never really listened to the Bad Religion Christmas album. Don't really listen to anyone's Christmas album.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Except for Relient K and MXPX.
As established last Christmas, Danny does not really like Christmas music.
That's right. We haven't talked about that this year, but I don't really like Christmas music. So I only like a Christmas song if it severely changes the tone of it. So I like this version because it's a fun pop punk song. But and I like Christmas Day by MXPX because it's a fun pop punk song. And I like some ska Christmas songs. But yeah, Christmas songs are like dark nostalgia to me. That's what I refer to them as. The next thing, so also Sanctus Real did one, and they're a Christian band, but like a bunch of Christian bands have done that. But just by searching Relient K, Angels We Have Heard on High, the Sanctus Real version came up.
Danny, is there a face in the Christmas tree? Did something happen to you so you have the Christmas blues?
Yes, that's what happened. Maybe I would have a better time if I'd heard this Family Force 5 version. Here's Family Force 5's version of Angels We Have Heard on High. This is more on the like LMFAO kind of version of. So before we play this, like Family Force 5, I really liked their first album. I didn't follow with them, like, because the thing is, like, and Jessica and I saw them together at Cornerstone, Florida in 2006 or 5, I don't remember which one. I liked them.
I think it was 6.
They played Soulfest in 2005, and I swear, like, they came off as really heavy when they played, but like their album, and it's a classic thing. Like, speaking of Metallica and some other bands that are like known for having really heavy shows, like
even like Five Iron Frenzy.
Five Iron Frenzy. That's how Jessica felt. Jessica saw Five Iron Frenzy live first. I took her to those, and when she went back and listened to their albums, they're like, "This isn't as heavy as their live
it was
show."
like, oh, I don't like the recorded versions of this. I like them live better.
So, like, Family Force 5 will always have a place in my heart when I saw them live in those early years, because my friend Johnny and I even talked to them afterwards, and they said at the time, this is funny, in a conversation to us, that their two biggest influences at that point were Rage Against the Machine and Duran Duran. That sounds insane, but when you think of early Family Force 5, that makes total sense.
Yeah, it does.
Because they have that heavy funk rap rock sound. Speaking of Limp Bizkit, they have that heavy, like, nu metal-ish thing. They're not really a nu metal band, but they have that heavy thing, along with the colorful, bright goofiness that you associate with Family Force 5. Then later on, they became like even more nerdy, like hip-hop and LMFAO, like party rock sort of stuff. Anyway, the point is, I like Family Force 5. I like their first album better. Classic criticism. I like their first album better. But maybe I would love Christmas music if I had heard this version of Angels We Have Heard on High that they did.
Angels we have heard. On high, sweetly singing o'er the plains and the mountains in reply, echoing their joyous strain.
Wow.
I ran to the bathroom during that song.
Wow.
I heard Jessica pause to laugh from the bathroom. So what'd you think of that?
Wow.
Yeah, that's middle career Family Force 5. But I can see their need, like, I can see why they went that route. I don't know.
Sure.
I haven't listened to their later albums to really know what their whole sound became like later on, but when I think of their first album and how heavy and goofy and fun it was, and then when I think of them as getting a little lighter, like, I'm thinking like, yeah, they're probably appealing more to the main stage Christian festivals. I could be totally wrong. You know what I started listening to was Dangers of Christian Rock or something like that. It's another podcast. They reached out to us to say hi. and I'm like, I'm gonna ask them. They review a different Christian band every week, and I think their show title, their show name is like in reference to the dangers of rock, like saying, watch out for rock and roll, it's going to influence your kids. So they call it the dangers of Christian rock. Anyway, I'm going to request that they do a Family Force 5 episode so I can learn a little bit more about them. Anyway, so yeah, I didn't come across the Sixpence version by searching Relient K, Angels We Have Heard on High.
I actually found out about it because of that one where they listed, they put Relient K at number 9, I think it was,
Gotcha.
of the covers of this song. And I think Sixpence None the Richer was at like, I don't know, 7 or something.
Right, but I did find the Sanctus Real version, and I think we can skip that. So we'll get into covers. Here's a full band cover with no vocals that I found. This is on YouTube, uploaded by Rosemary Williams. I think this is like the mom or something of one of these kids.
Nice.
Like, look at the picture. It's like so clearly a mom. And yeah, and these are like 12-year-old boys.
Oh, yeah.
On a church stage.
Yeah. Oh, I bet they like just graduated from School of Rock. Adorable.
It could be a School of Rock situation. This was uploaded 9 years ago. And this... Oh, okay. I love the name of this. It's like... It says Non-Toxic Teen Center. That's the...
Nice. So you've got like a non-denominational sort of
Maybe,
safe place for kids to go.
Hey, it's non-toxic. That's good. The 6th annual Christmas party, Sunday, December 19th, 2010. Preston, Nate, and Joel pay homage to Relient K in this fun version of the classic Christmas song. So they don't do the dishwasher drums, but it said it's based on Relient K, so I was like, so I put this one in the list.
It's great. It's good stuff.
Nice kids, nice non-toxic kids. Unlike that movie, The Children, which are literally toxic kids. Here is so here was like a Sunday morning, like, welcome to church, hey everyone, thanks for coming. Put your canned goods by the door. And come on in, take off your coats, start getting,
take off your pants and jacket.
Take off your pants and jacket to welcome to church. April's very upset to say take off your pants and jacket at the beginning of church service. Hey! Okay, this is uploaded by Fairview Presbyterian. I don't have a date because it's on SoundCloud. Here we go. The guitar tone at the begining of this, I know you wouldn't know this, but it sounds like NoFX, a particular NoFX.
Oh, I felt like we were listening to the Runaways for a second.
Just a headline. Cause, we're just doing it for the cause. It sounds like Doing It for the Cause by NoFX. What did you say just now?
It sounds like the Runaways. Especially because it sounded like a girl like shouted across something at the beginning.
Right.
Glad to see everybody this morning. Hope you're in the mood to wake up.
Gonna sing some well-known Christmas carols together.
Yeah.
Yes, I love it.
So, I guess we're starting off with the covers that don't sound like Relient K's version, but are labeled Relient K cover. Because I don't think this one does the dishwasher drums, and she's doing this bravado that is not Relient K based, but it's still a fun cover. It's
you
fun.
sure that's not your favorite theatrical piece in there, Danny?
I'm pretty sure. think of that?
Good stuff.
They're from North Augusta.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And we can stick with the church theme. Then I think we get more specifically into Relient K territory with and I didn't find any live Relient K versions of this. But here is Rocker Girl for Jesus.
Nice.
But the word girl doesn't have an I in it. So it's Rocker Girl for Jesus. 10 years ago, uploaded Angels We Have Heard on High medley. That's right. And this is like, I don't know if this is like a pageant. Oh, wait, it says right here. Our annual school and voice instruments Christmas recital. And I performed this medley of 3 Christmas songs. Angels We Have Heard on High. That's odd. Wait. Okay. Sorry. It says, Angels We Have Heard on High, Carol of the Bells, and Don't Save It All for Christmas Day. It was so much fun to do. But I got thrown off because she says, I performed this medley of 3 Christmas songs, but then the list says, Angels We Have Heard on High Traditional, Angels We Have Heard on High Relient K, Carol of the Bells, August Burns Red, and Don't Save It All for Christmas Avalon. So she like credited Relient K and their traditional version.
Gotcha.
And this is like a girl-fronted rock group.
Nice.
Accompanying me is my brother Adam on the drums, my friends Alina on piano, and Diana on bass. And I will be performing an original medley that I created that we're just calling Angels We've Heard on High. The medley, which is 3 songs that I just put together. And I hope you guys like it, just, talking about Jesus and Christmas and how, he's the reason for the season. And we're glad about that. So, yeah, here it is.
Oh, I don't like your loud music. Jesus wouldn't like this.
That's weird? Okay. Let's start now. Angels we have heard on high, sweetly singing o'er the plains, and the mountains in reply, echoing their joyous strains.
What?
I just realized I didn't talk about the history of the song.
You skipped your whole part.
I skipped it.
Well, let's listen to, before we get to that, let's listen to Rocker Girl for Jesus' brother do the Travis Barker drums, and then
Nice.
we'll go backwards and talk about the history of the song.
Shepherds, why this jubilee? Why your joy and strength? What the glass of times be? Which is mine or his? Come to where the heavens see, him whose birth the ends.
So there's that. Now, he didn't do the full Travis Barker dishwasher. He forgot to hit the cymbals. Yeah, and like I said, we have a lot of drum covers, and we're probably not going to play any, but you could see who went for the cymbals during the dishwasher part and who didn't. So let's take a step backwards and hear a little bit of the history of this song.
Sorry about that. I knew the beginning part went too quickly for a Christmas episode. Angels We Have Heard on High is a Christmas carol to the hymn tune Gloria from a traditional French song of unknown origins called, and I only took 1 year of French my first year of middle school, so please forgive me, Les Agnes dans nos campagnes.
Les anges dans nos campagnes.
With English lyrics that were translated by James Chadwick. Chadwick's lyrics are derived and inspired, and in parts a loose translation from the French original. The song's subject is the birth of Jesus Christ as narrated in the Gospel of Luke, specifically the scene in which shepherds outside Bethlehem encounter a multitude of angels singing and praising the newborn child.
They were giant rings covered in eyes going, oh.
So Angels We Have Heard on High is generally sung to the hymn tune Gloria, a traditional French carol, as arranged by Christian Edward Shippen Barnes. Its most memorable feature is its chorus, Gloria in Excelsis Deo, where the O of Gloria is fluidly sustained through 18 notes of rising and falling melismatic melodic sequence. In England, the words of James Montgomery's Angels from the Realms of Glory are usually sung to this tune, with the Gloria in Excelsis Deo refrain text replacing Montgomery's. It is from this usage that the tune sometimes is known as Iris, the name of Montgomery's newspaper. In 2010-2011, the U.S. holiday digital songs for Billboard, this peaked at 21. I guess just the traditional version of the song.
Okay. It's nice to see some classic artists still able to have their time in the sun.
Over on GodTube, they go into a little bit more depth about the song, stating Chadwick's lyrics contrast from the original French version, including a new song title, and are considered an original work attributed wholly to him. Chadwick did not specifically translate the lyrics, but drafted a new set of lyrics that approximately reflected the theme of the original French song.
Well, what I'm learning is the history of this song's kind of boring. It's like, hey, we wrote a song, here it is.
At least this one isn't shrouded in mystery like some of the other ones
Right.
where they're like, well, we're not really sure who wrote this. Could have been this, could have been that, could have, been this other dude or a German scholar. We don't really know.
What was that one where they were like, this might have been written by Martin Luther? I can't say that.
I almost said Silver Balls, but that's not it.
Yeah.
Was it 12 Days of Christmas?
No. That's too modern. It was something that was, then we thought about it and we're like, it's just subtly too modern. I can't remember what it was. Maybe it was Deck the Halls.
We Wish You a Merry Christmas.
It could have been We Wish You a Merry Christmas. It might have been We Wish You a Merry Christmas, yeah. There was one where like they claimed it was written by, like one group of people thought this might have been written by Martin Luther. And then we looked into it and he died in like, 17 something. And we're like, how did he know about Sega or whatever his reference? Sega. I'm being facetious. You have to go back and listen.
How did he know about PlayStation 2?
Exactly. Well, he did write. Martin Luther did, in fact, write for Simple Plan. He was a member of Reset. Yeah, I don't know if you knew that. Anyway, thank you for explaining how Angels We Were Heard on High was written. I don't know.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Yeah. So let's go back to covers, and now we'll feel forever changed because here is the band Forever Changed.
Nice.
Covering this song. They are like it's like another youth group type band, like a band like playing in a youth group for their friends or something. Oh, and they're like, go to myspace.com/Forever Changed.
Sick.
Oh, it's Forever Charged. Forever Charged. Disambiguation. I feel bad. This band from 2010 was called Forever Charged. They were like, go to our myspace.com/Forever Charged. I hope your songs weren't only uploaded to MySpace.
Was Energizer Bunny already taken?
Probably.
Because if they're Forever Charged, they keep going.
I get it. I just don't know what else to say to that.
Angels we never lie, we've been singing all the way, and the mountains in reply, echoing the joy to sing.
Okay, they also did do the dishwasher drums.
It sounded like a little. There was a little.
He was kind of like. It's almost like when you think you're singing along and then you're really just singing like this. You're singing, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like you don't really want to, or you want to put your hands up in praise, but you really just have them down here. It's like he tried to do the drumming, but he didn't really. He just, yeah. But here's one. I can't believe we missed this last year because it's pretty cool. There's a Japanese band. This is uploaded by Drum WU, and I guess that the band name is not listed, or if it is, it's Lucky Street. Well, I don't know if Lucky Street is the name of the band or if that's the name of the venue, because the only words in English on this description are, well, the word 2014, which is not English or Japanese, and then the words in band Lucky Street, which makes me think the band could be Lucky Street, or they could be the band that is playing at Lucky Street. This is a cover of Angels We Have Heard on High from 3 years ago. This is great because, you know, those first couple of covers by the teenagers, like, I definitely have seen those type of, like, 12-year-olds
right
in a band, but they're very sheltered by their parents, and they're only allowed to play at certain types of, like, church or youth group events and stuff. I've seen that sort of thing, so there's this, like, slight tinge of artifice because they don't actually have real life being in a band experience.
This is great, though.
This is a totally different energy. This is an energy I'm also familiar with like local bands in probably something that's barely a venue.
Right.
And like being teenagers, and like the lighting is like effed up because like this place isn't really meant to put on punk shows, or they're putting on punk shows in like a pizza parlor or a church basement or something. But they're like real bands, and they're wearing their hoodies, and they like got their merch table pretty much set up right next to the stage and stuff. I went to so many shows like this as well. So this is great. And the reason I said I wish I had seen this last year is because they do a cover in the same video of We Wish You a Merry Christmas. And that's a song we've already done.
Oh, nice.
So let's hear a little bit of their cover from that since we missed it last year.
Wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Wish you a Merry Christmas. Wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New
You know what this reminds me of? I saw one like Japanese street punk band in Boston in a similar situation to this, where they were playing in a bar, but it wasn't a bar that like had a stage, so they like made a stage in the corner. Or if the stage existed, it was probably just meant for like small bands, like Irish bands and acoustic things or something. Because there was no dance floor in this bar for sure, and it was in Cambridge. It wasn't in Boston. And they were a Japanese street punk band, and they were playing with a band who I was barely friends with, one of the members of the band. Like, I worked at Target with him. And I was like, yeah, I'll go check out your band, and I'll get to see a Japanese band as well. That'll be cool. And then there was a third band there who was, like, actually the band, I guess, the American band that was taking them around the country or something like that, right? Like, my friend's local band was only playing that show. But these two bands that were touring, one was Japanese and one was some other band who I have no idea who they were anymore. When they got to the club, and I was there early, when I got to the bar and I was there early, one of the guys in the American band that was on this tour ran over to the pizza place and grabbed like a big pizza pie, and he brought it up to the band the Japanese band who had already set up their merch table. And he's like, "Hey guys, look!" And he lifted up the pizza, and they all went, "Ah!" They were all like super excited, Japanese people, to be about to eat an American pizza.
Nice.
I was like,
I thought they were worried that it was going to spill out like on their merch.
no, they were like, "Yay!" Like they were like, "Pizza, American pizza." Because I know Japanese people love pizza, but I also hear that like, you know, Japanese diet does not include dairy. So I don't know what Japanese pizza really constitutes. I don't know what it's made out of. Anyway, I just thought that was fun. I was like, hey, we're all going to have a pizza. I didn't get any pizza because I was just there as a friend of the opening band. Let's see. So, yeah, that's it for covers. And then we have a few, fun little a few little fan things. My notes are going crazy. My app is going nutty, and the links are getting deleted. Like, it's slipping all over the place. Bless you.
Thank you.
So here's just this is uploaded by Eric Flores 99, 12 years ago. Uploaded this video where, like, this young kid straps a guitar on himself in the front yard, and then he, like, I don't think he knows how to play the guitar, but then he just pantomimes that he's the one rocking out to the song while it plays in the background. And they didn't even edit the song in over. It's just like nice. in the yard with them. And the camera goes crazy. And it's one of those early DV cameras, so it's every time you're the lightest click of your finger, you hear it in the microphone. But crazy chaotic. They were like trying to make some sort of like super chaotic music video.
Pretty amazing. I love that it's strapped around his neck, not like slung properly.
Right. And I just realized this is some sort of Spanish or Portuguese country because I cannot identify the language in the description, but it's either Portuguese or Spanish. He just gave this look. This little kid just gave this look to the camera, like, yeah. This kid could be like 9. He's very young. It's funny, and he has the strap around his. He has the strap just around his neck. You just said that. Jessica just said that. It's hilarious. Anyway, I feel like that's probably their brother's guitar, and he's gonna get in trouble if they get caught later for having taken it in the yard. Then there's like a family did a thing, like a Christmas card, like a YouTube Christmas card to send to people, and it's just them like setting up, trimming their tree not stop motion. What do you call that when you run the camera while you go?
Time lapse.
Time lapse. I cannot think of I could never think of the word time lapse. That's just a phrase that just was not in my head at that moment. There's a youth group FMV where it's just like people running around in a youth group center, and I kind of forget how, like, especially like a church that also has a school attached, so they might have 2 buildings. They might have their traditional church building, but then they also have their school building, which is like built for the cheapest possible materials, so it looks like an office building, but all the doors and the trimming are residential doors and trimming. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Like, it's not built like an office place or like a school place. Right. It was built like the hallways of an office, but it's all residential doors and trimming. It's in that kind of weird energy. Let's see, that's uploaded by... So this is the OCUMC Youth Christmas 2011, uploaded by KP Here WTS. And it's just a bunch of very mid-2000s looking kids rocking out and having a good time, doing Rockettes kicks and
air guitar. It's fun stuff. Ooh, yeah. Nice headbanging.
See, it looks like somebody's basement, but it's a church. And this looks like the foyer to a house. It does. But it's the foyer to their classroom building. And then they move on to what I assume is the actual church, because it's all brick and very old, like 70s and 60s looking walls and stuff.
Yeah, and they've got the Christmas tree set up.
Yeah. But it just makes me think if there's like construction crews out there and all across the country, and it's like, oh, yeah, we need like a school building, we need like an office building, and they're like, okay, well, and I was like, let me stop you there. It's for a born again Christian church. It's like, oh, then you want the weirdest choices indoors. You want everything to sort of mismatch between industrial and office and residential. There's a couple of sign language music videos. We're not going to watch them, but yeah, I found all the house lighting shows. I found all the drum covers. There's one girl among 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Wow.
13 drum covers. One is female. I did not find a Nightcore version. I apologize. We'll plug that in at the end. I'll put my own Nightcore version in at the end instead of our usual outro music.
Right on.
And then this very, very cursed puppet show. So we have two things left. It's cursed because...
It's a puppet show?
It's a puppet show.
Oh, wow. Oh.
In a very traditional looking church with, like, you know, a cross on top. And they have those, like, flags on the wall. Like, this is a very traditional looking church. They're doing puppets.
It's heavily compressed.
Heavily compressed. Very badly lit.
Yeah, very yellow.
It's if you watch this video at midnight, the puppets control the humans.
100%.
And they're not like behind a wall. They're just standing in the middle of the stage and holding up their puppets, mouthing to the song. And they're very Christian looking puppets. They're that weird like curly hair, like
right.
We
They're
found
those very standard people puppets.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how else to describe those. Those generic people puppets.
Right. So lastly, we have... This is uploaded by Brian Maloney 6 years ago. Uploaded Angels We Have Heard on High. And the only way I can describe this, and this is a well-shot HD video, but the only way I can describe this is like a Happy Hands ministry that went out to the shopping mall to like get people to check them out, to perform for people who are having a tough time with their Christmas shopping. They're all wearing the same like purple
shirt, collared shirt.
Purple collared shirt. And they're all doing like a dance. It's not sign language. I found a couple sign language videos. There might be some sign language signs mixed in, but it is a dance because there's other parts where they're not clearly doing dance moves. Yeah, that's not a sign.
It's slightly more upbeat than Napoleon Dynamite.
Right. But yeah, it is a... They're all wearing purple polo shirts, except... Wait, I guess the girls are wearing purple and the guys are wearing black. For whatever reason.
Because of course guys don't want to wear purple, I suppose.
Yeah. And they've got do they have a symbol on their polo shirts? Maybe not. Maybe they don't. So they're just performing in the middle of a
mall.
A mall.
Yeah.
And there's not one, but two videos of this same performance, of not this same performance, but this same troupe. So another Brian Maloney upload at a different mall with a different group, with what appears to me to be a different group of teens. This time they're all wearing black.
Wow. This is a standard.
Yeah. So I'm like, is this just fun entertainment for everyone, or is this a ministry? Because this reminds me, and I haven't talked about this much with you, but in 2001, the summer before 9/11...
This has 4 views.
Yeah.
The two kids in the front are not into it. They're just talking to each other, seeming kind of like bored.
Oh yeah, you're right. Someone just walked by with a bag, like clearly a shopping bag with like tissue out of the top. So I haven't talked about this much, but in 2001, the summer before 9/11, I went on one missions trip, like one like proper, like I've done plenty of like, when I was a kid, we did missions trips where we like go to the old folks home and like sing and stuff like that. But when I'm talking like actually got on a plane, like my parents like put together money so I could go with my whole youth group first to Texas, where they trained us on this mission trip, and then we drove across the border into Mexico, and we did a Mexican like missions trip. First of all, it, like at the time it was like okay, it was fun, it was adventure. I mostly just wanted to go to Mexico, right? But like the mission was like a dance thing. Like we went to Mexico and we'd go to like Mexican shopping malls and stuff and Mexican shopping centers and plazas and stuff. It was in Monterrey, Mexico. And we go to those areas and we do this like performative dance about like the cross and
So
stuff.
you weren't fixing houses or doing anything
No,
like that?
that would be a missions trip, right?
Yeah.
That would be a missions trip. But I don't know what the company was because I just kind of...
I have a question. They do know that there is Christianity in Mexico, right?
That's the other thing. And I kind of knew this at the time. I was kind of like, because this wasn't my idea, okay? Like, but I was like, hey, and I went to multiple different churches and so multiple different
You
youth
just
groups.
wanted to go to a mall in Mexico.
I did. I was like, I wonder if I can get any region-coded anime DVDs there. So, yeah. I don't, in hindsight, I don't know the company name. Like, I might be able to ask someone. I'm not in contact with anyone from that church really anymore. I'm Facebook friends with some people, so I can ask, like, hey, what was the deal with that? But yeah, it was like you go to a Texas, like, summer camp for a Christian, like, sort of summer camp atmosphere for a couple of nights where they teach you these dances and they teach you, like, the rules about, like, you know, and who's in charge and stuff like that. And then you get on a bus and you drive to Monterrey, Mexico, and a couple of churches put you up and you go out and you do a dance routine at a mall for Mexican people who already are Christian. Like, I don't know if the thing that we were part of, like, was one of those Christian churches that don't consider Catholics to be real Christians. It's all whatever. It's in hindsight, it was really weird. I just saw it as like a thing to go on with my friends.
Right.
And even from the beginning, I was like, even before I became more like questioning of Christianity, that was one of the things where I was like, what's going on here? What are we doing? And I missed the Israelites and the Alstonians, right? I missed, there was the Israelites and the Alstonians not being a Christian ska band at all, being a local Boston first wave style ska band, and the Israelites being the most well-known Christian first wave ska band. I finally got to see the Israelites here in California when they played a couple years ago at the Slide Bar. But I was like, oh, I'm finally going to get to see the Israelites. Nope, didn't get to go because I had to go on this mission trip, which I enjoy. I have a lot of like fun memories and weird memories from it and stuff. But yeah, it just reminds me, like, I guess we just would go and we'd dance, and then like some other handler there who was like from a church would like, thanks for watching. Now here's the pamphlets for, you know, come to our born again Christian church and put behind your Catholicism or something. I don't know. I don't really understand. You couldn't ask me to understand it then. I could barely understand it now. Anyway, did I ever tell you about this?
Yes. Not about the dancing part, though.
No.
Not about them all dancing. This is the first time I've heard about this.
That's all we could do. Like, the most fun parts are actually when, and like, we could have, like...
Did you do the hand moves?
Yeah. It wasn't, like, it wasn't as big kind of dance as this. But it was a dance thing. Like, the best parts of it were just going around and, like, getting to talk to people. And, like, that's all it really should have been. Or going and, like, helping and build stuff. Right. But we didn't go to, like, places where they needed that kind of stuff, or at least they didn't set those things up. It's not like my dad went on a real missions trip where they went to like somewhere like Honduras or something, and they actually built a church themselves. And my dad came back, and this is I'm talking about in the 80s, and he came back with the pictures of it and stuff, and he had like done all the tiling because my dad works in construction, so he like knew how to do that stuff. But yeah, my mission trip didn't have to do with us like going anywhere and building anything or doing chores or anything. It was just like one day of dancing, one day of talking to people, one day of dancing, one day of talking to people.
I love how you're like, my dad's in construction, like he's out there in his tool belt every day. Your dad is like, is the CFO for a building corporation.
Well, whatever. My dad's always been an accountant, but he has always worked in construction-based accounting, so he knows the industry. He knows how to do it. He was always our go-to handyman at home. He knew how to do that stuff. Anyway, Merry Christmas.
So, Danny, do you like this song? More or less or the same?
I like it about the same.
I like it more.
You like it more?
Yeah.
Nice. Very good. Well, then stick around. Here's our Nightcore version of Angels We Have Heard on High. Maybe I'll like this even better, but you'll never know because it's the end of the episode.